Welcome to Open for Discussion. Today we are going to talk all about entrepreneurship, and joining us is Kennedy Seed from Seed Visuals. He's going to walk us through his journey from being a photographer to now owning his own video production studio, BC Studio. Without further ado, let's welcome Kennedy Seed. Kennedy, thank you so much for coming on Open for Discussion. I'm really excited to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I brought you here is because you are the definition of, go-getter, hustler. You literally, from I met you, I've seen you grow so much, and I've seen you like build your business, and I'm really proud of you. And I also feel like you have a lot, that you have learned where you could help people, like, get to the point or reach their goals and stuff like that, right? So I just wanted to kind of get a little background on you and how you went from being a photographer to a graphic design. You did graphic design, and now you have your own studio, and it's a huge studio. And before we get to the studio, I just want to know, what was your process and how did you get there?
It's interesting because right from when I was a teenager, I've always known that I was gonna be here. I've always known that I'm gonna, right from when I was like, before being a teenager, I've always had that confidence. I've always been an entrepreneur. I remember when I was a kid, I was always getting money from my uncles, and I would save the money and I would use it to buy a bag. And then someone in my class would be like, "Oh, I love this bag," and then I would resell the bag to them. I was like, what, 9 years old?
Wow. So you've been business minded.
Yeah. So, and also my dad, he was a marketing manager, right? So the business side of myself has been in the family. It's been in the blood, for the whole time. And then being a creative person, and then transitioning from the creative side of things to the business side of things, came with no surprise to me because I saw that coming already.
Right.
So it was just like working hard on myself, getting the required knowledge and experience to bring that dream into fruition. And that was it's all a process, like every other career in life.
Right.
Right. You just have to go through the process.
Right. So would you say that you had, because you said your dad was into marketing,
Yeah.
and would you say that you had support from your family? Were you able to tell them what it is that you wanted to do, and they supported you through it, or?
No, not at all, because my dad didn't really want me to be in the line of business I am right now, because he wanted me to be an engineer, right? With every African dad, like, it's either you're a doctor,
Engineer,
yeah.
Exactly. Doctor, engineer, lawyer.
And shout out to my mom. She was very supportive. She believed in me, even when it felt like I was going crazy, like chasing what I want to do. And it was just my mom that was just in support of me the whole time.
Wow. So what are some of the things that your mom did to help encourage you?
When I was 11 years old, my mom got me my first film camera.
Oh, wow.
Like the photo camera, the ones that use the analog tapes, not the digital ones right now. And then, yeah, she kind of like set me up for success. Like, that camera was just the beginning of my story, because I fell in love with the photos. I fell in love with, and also I kind of like started taking photos in school and started getting money from my fellow students and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so, and this was this here in Canada?
No, that was in Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you get here?
So first of all, I went to South Africa with my siblings. Like, I schooled there, and then I decided to, because I love learning, right? There's something about life in general that I believe that regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what you put your mind to do, there's a required knowledge for that. And sometimes people talk about it and be like, "Oh, I don't need to go to school," but school is going to give you that basic knowledge for you to understand how to mitigate the risk and the success involved in what you're doing. So I've always believed that there's always an opportunity to learn more. And when the opportunity came for me to go to a film school, I took it with no hesitation, because it's an opportunity for me to learn more.
Right.
And that was how I decided to to come to Canada. Well, I had an offer from New York Film Academy and from Toronto Film School, and then this is very funny because I have like a whole family in New York,
Wow.
and then nobody here.
Oh my God.
You
Wow.
know, but I've always wanted to. I'm very adventurous. I'm Aries, so I've always wanted to come figure this out myself, just me alone here,
Right.
see what's up. And the plan was go to film school for 18 months, you know, finish up and go back to the States. But then after my film school, I kind of loved the country. I decided to stick around, and I started making friends, and I started my first business, my first freelance independent filmmaker business. And then I went from there.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So
Yeah.
you chose Toronto, the one place that you did not know anybody,
Yeah.
and you know you've obviously been quite successful. So you started off after film school. What did you do? Did you go straight into photography?
Yeah, while I was in film school, I was doing photos. Like
Wow.
again, I
Okay.
mentioned, I just wanted to go to school to learn, like
Right.
the basic knowledge I feel like I could be missing out on. And while I was in school, I was still doing my thing. I was still doing photos and everything. And then after film school, you know, I took it even further by going through. So I went through some paid government programs, like seminars, like business starter programs, sort of, right, which was sponsored by the city. And then I learned a lot about how to, you know, start my own studio, my own, because I looked at it this way, right? This is what I'm gonna be doing for life, right? This is how I'm gonna be paying my bills. So it's only right for me to know how to, you know, make a living doing it. And that's the problem with a lot of creatives, a lot of talents, you know, right now. They're very passionate about the craft that they don't think about the business side of it.
That's true.
And that also creates some sort of limitations for you, because you need money to
Right.
grow your craft, to develop your craft, right? You know, if you're gonna buy like good cameras, good equipment, good, where you're gonna take it up on your credit card, and the only way you can, it's only fair for you to monetize whatever you're doing to get money to improve what you're doing. And that was what I thought the whole time, and that's why I decided to, you know, brand myself. Branding helped me a lot. Like, I wasn't the best videographer or photographer in town, but
Obviously, this
if
kind
you're
of
talking to me, you're gonna feel like you're talking to an entire company.
I know that. I know that you are good with that. Yes.
You know, the email conversations, the social media, whatever. I made sure it was, you know, properly done.
That's
I
all a
remem-
part of branding, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I remember I had Grammarly app on my laptop when nobody knew what it was, because I was like making sure my communication with my customers, the English is properly done, you know, so that way they can trust me, they can, you know, believe me that I know what I'm doing.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut. Just for those that don't know what Grammarly app is, what is it exactly?
It's just this autocorrect app that tells you when you,
Okay.
fixes your grammar for you.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, so that's.
I mean,
how
a
you
lot
got
of
good-
students
use
watching
it.
us right now, they probably, because right now it's all over the place. Like if you hit
Grammarly,
YouTube, it's the ad is all over the place.
It's
But
all
then it
over.
was like nobody knew about it.
Okay, okay. So that is what you use with your emails and just
Yeah.
like having your basic conversation. So I just want to go back to when you said you got a lot of you did grants or government help or something like
Yeah.
that. So how did you get in contact with that? What did you do in order to tap into that? Because I think a lot of people don't really know how to access that.
Yeah, I believe there's always available resources for you, regardless of what you're doing, and especially with the creative industry. You know, there's a lot of resources. It's overwhelming going through the process. Sometimes you feel like, you know, the odds are against you. But again, it's always good to try. You know, if you don't try, you've already lost.
Yeah,
But if
that's
you
true.
try, you have a chance, one
That's
out of
true.
100 of, you know, getting in there. And I tried a bunch of stuff. I tried like a lot of stuff, and a lot of them said no.
Okay.
But I was desperate because I needed to know this. I needed to learn this. And then one of them said yes, and I got into the program. So it was a whole bunch of application. I know I applied to, you know, places like Ontario Art Council, a lot of those like that, before I got into this program.
Wow.
And it was just for business startup. They're gonna like teach you the process and then empower you financially to go and be great.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that you got it. You applied for a lot of things and you didn't get it, because
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that people fail to realize. Even if it is something that you want to do, and you know, you have your mindset on, you know, growing your business or in whatever it is, there's going to be like things that you have to go through, and not everything is going to be yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
right? But because you believe in yourself, you knew to keep pushing. Even though you got denied one application, it didn't stop
Yeah.
you, did it?
Yeah, it did, because pretty much everyone I've collaborated with, or a lot of things I've done, I always get a no before the same person comes around to say yes.
Oh, wow. How so? Please
Yeah,
go deeper into that. What is that?
because first of all, people are not gonna believe in you, right? Um, I mean, I'm not gonna mention anybody's name or any company's name, but
Don't do that.
yeah, but I gotta let her know, and then you gotta be persistent, like, because that's how life is. People are not gonna believe in you; they want you to prove yourself. So it's not okay for you to give up when people tell you no,
Wow.
especially if you're really desperate about, you know, yeah,
Wow. Okay. So even if you get a no, keep pushing.
yeah, you gotta keep pushing.
And I always say this: it's really important to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself before you get that support system.
But
So that's
before
what
I got
believe.
into what I do today, I'm a visual effect artist as well. Before I got accepted into the
Sorry, before you go into that,
Yeah.
what exactly is a visual effects artist?
So that's visual effect for film and television.
Okay.
Like that's everything you see on movies, commercials. Like it could go from um, um, action effects to like rotoscoping. To I don't want to get really technical. I'm trying to in a way to say for people
Yeah,
to
yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
But let me just break it down this way. If you're watching a movie and you see explosions or car chases, or those are like visual effects,
Okay.
right? It's very technical, and they want you to have like a certain level of knowledge in film production before you could get accepted into the course.
Right.
I applied 3 times and I was denied twice.
Wow.
So I got a no twice, and then the third time I got a yes.
But you, wow.
Yeah, and then out of the whole students in the class, the teacher told me that I came out like one of the best students, and
Look
he
at
was
that.
shocked because coming off, I wasn't really a technical person, but I was really determined to crack it out, and yeah, it
That-
all worked out.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. Denied 3 times, and the third time, it didn't
Twice.
stop you.
Yeah, it
Oh,
didn't
denied
stop
twice, and then the third time you got in, and not only did you get in, but you were the top
Yeah,
in
I
your class.
excelled at the course. It was very interesting.
That's good. One thing I know about you, I really like your drive. And like you said, you believe in yourself so much that anyone that comes in contact with you, but they see your potential just in how you carry yourself, and and the projects that you have, and you're all about quality too, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is something that's really important for people, to know, like, to have that drive and not to easily want to give up or easily feel like, okay, like this is not working, so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it go. So okay, so now, like, you finished film school, you did some videography, and how did you get to the point that you are at right now? Like, what was that process like?
Coming out of film school, it was really very discouraging. Sorry to say, I'm not trying to just discourage.
No,
anybody.
you're being real, and
I'm
this
not
is
trying
what
to
we
discourage
want.
anybody going to film school, but I know there's a lot of people that are passionate about film, and that believe that the right channel to go is film school, which is good. I'm not disputing that fact, but I just want to cut people's expectations low, right? As opposed to coming out and just going to Hollywood and becoming the next Michael Bay.
Yeah, that's what they're expecting, right? Big dreams.
It's not gonna happen. Sorry. Not that I'm being negative, but everything I'm gonna talk about on this show, I'm saying it based of a place of experience, right? I have a lot of friends that came out of film school, and this is not cheap. This is one of the most expensive course you can enroll in.
Oh, I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
As an international student, I spent $28,000.
How long is the course?
18 months.
18 months and 28. Wow.
And
That's an investment.
it's not a type of course where you take your resume or your CV to companies and they're going to hire you because you went to a film school. Nobody cares about that. People just want to see your real, like what you're able to create. because it's art,
Exactly.
right? And while coming out, like I said, I was disappointed because I couldn't get a job, and so was every other student. I know a lot of my colleagues ended up working at fast food companies, and a lot of people went back to study something else
Oh, wow.
in school, right? But for me, it wasn't about the film school. I already know I want to do this, regardless of the school. I just know that the school is just for me to get some knowledge.
Right.
Every time I go to school, I'm not going to school to get hired. I'm going to school to learn how to do it,
That's smart. Yeah.
right? And I feel like that's what people should, that should be like what people should put at the forefront in going to school, not for you to go to school and get a job. That's what they make us to believe, right?
That's true.
But nobody's going to tell you that out of everybody standing on the graduation stage, that half of them are going to be Uber drivers or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's about job.
I mean, yeah,
right, but nobody goes to school to be an Uber driver, right?
Right, exactly.
So, but that's the bitter truth. So that's why me going to school, I always wanted to learn how to do this stuff, right? I'm doing business right now, and I'm fighting with my teachers because there's a particular course I'm not kind of grasping the concept, and I'm like, I'm not trying to pass the assignments and get a grade. I just want to know how to do this, so I can be able to practice this in the real business world.
Right.
So it's not about the grade for me. You understand? So out of film school, I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur, right? I knew it was going to be a tough road for me to go, and I knew I was prepared to go through it, right? And I see myself as an entrepreneur. I don't see it as a career. I just see it more like a lifestyle, right? I saw a tweet a couple days ago. Elon Musk, he said he works 120 hours a week.
Wow.
Now I could relate to that because I work 80 hours a week. As an
man.
entrepreneur, you don't stop working.
That's very true.
Sometimes when I'm sleeping, I wake up from the dream. I'm like writing stuff.
You're like writing stuff that's like, oh, that was a good one. Let
I'm
me
like,
just jot this
God,
down.
that must be you. You know,
That is so funny.
like it don't stop.
It doesn't stop. That's true.
Yeah, even when you're driving, like, you know, like I do music videos, I do commercials. Like I have a treatment I got from the studio. I'm like, when I'm driving, I'm like going through the treatment in my head.
What's a treatment?
A treatment is like a concept of what you're gonna be filming.
It's like a blueprint.
A
almost.
blueprint of what you're gonna be filming, right?
Okay.
And yeah, so I see myself that this is what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life. So I just have to go at it.
Right.
You know, and this was before the world starts. Right now, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. There's a lot of like people creating their own businesses. People get to start believing in themselves.
Right.
But prior to now, everybody was scared.
It's true.
If I don't get this job, how am I gonna pay my bills? And that's okay for you to be worried about those things.
Yeah.
You know, but I try to balance it out. Like while I was doing my thing as Sid Visuals, I also had a call center job I was doing at the time, just for me to pay my bills, just for me to pay my rent and my phone bills, and be able to, like, I don't want to get all the money in the world doing that job, but I just want to be able to pay my bills.
Right.
So I can be able to have time to chase this thing I really want to do that I know is going to pay off. It's not just about believing in yourself, which a lot of people are going to tell you, but it's about doing the work, like getting the knowledge. Knowledge is very key.
So knowledge is key. Okay.
Yeah, getting the knowledge and implementing it.
Right.
But most importantly, you got to have passion for that, because the passion opens a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors for you to grow at whatever you're doing.
The passion drives you almost, right?
And this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been practicing, and this is what I've advised a lot of people, a lot of young people that are in my circle. You know, I know a lot of young people that started businesses. Like, I encourage them to do it, and right now they're very grateful. You know, it comes with the passion, and then you got to get the knowledge. Knowledge is very important.
Yeah.
You know, there's no shortcut to it. You got to get the knowledge, because there's a lot of things that you don't know that the knowledge is going to teach you.
Exactly.
There's a lot of technicalities in every business you're doing, filmmaking, whatever it is. There's a lot of technicalities. There's a lot of bookkeeping. There's a lot of those things. Like, you don't have to know, you don't have to do them, but it's good.
Understand it.
It's good for you to know it, so that you can easily tell what is working and what is not working in the business.
That's true.
Right? Like, before I hired a staff, I worked on my business for 2 years myself. And then people were like, oh, you're overworking yourself, just hire somebody. But that's not the point.
Right.
That person is just coming there to do the bare minimum and clock out at the end of the day.
Right.
but I want to babysit this business because that business is like a growing. Okay, let me just paint it this way. So it's like a pregnant woman. So when you have the ideas of the business, you're pregnant. The real work starts when you put to bed, right?
Right.
When the baby comes out, that's when the real work starts. Like you got to make sure the baby is going to a good school, is well taken care of. You're spending money. That's how a business is.
That's right.
So would you have a nanny take care of your baby?
That's true. I mean, that's
Good luck.
subjective for some rich people out here.
I mean, you can.
But I understand what you're saying.
You can, but not like maybe when once in a while you can have a nanny come in when you're going out for like a dinner or something. But you're not gonna depend on an employee to run your business successfully.
Exactly, to raise your
You gotta be close to that baby to know what the baby needs.
Exactly.
Does this baby cry at night? Like what is going on?
That's true.
And that's how a business is, and that's pretty much how I approached my business. And before I can be able to entrust some responsibility to an employee.
Right. Wow. Okay, that's really good to know. So before first of all, I just want to go back to you mentioned a few times that you went to school for it. You wanted to get the knowledge and how important knowledge is. And I always say this. I agree with you 100%. And not only for you to understand what it is that you're doing yourself, but also as a business owner, you're basically bringing in clients. You have to explain certain things in order to, and if you don't have an educational background, it's a bit harder to,
communicate.
To communicate,
Communication is very important in business.
Exactly.
That's the first thing you got to learn about business, communication.
Yeah. So it's very important, whatever it is, even if it's a course, right? You don't have to do the full, because a lot of times with us, like I'm a creative too. So when you have that creative mind, there's so many ideas, but just having that, the basics, which is the knowledge, and what it's so important. Like even if it's just the theories, to know the words to use when you're, when you're speaking to people.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily going to school.
Right.
It's you could get knowledge from listening to people that does that business.
Right.
I don't have a mentor, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I listen to a lot of podcasts from people I know that they've traded the part I'm trading right now, and they've came out successfully. So it's only fair for me to learn from their experiences and challenges. So that's knowledge. That's getting knowledge. And then those knowledge, you put them to use in a real work environment, and then you see the dynamics.
Right.
And then you go from there.
Right. Okay. So, basically from this conversation, I'm glad that you were able to really walk us through everything. You spoke about how you began, the challenges that you face, and one of the things that you really were talking about was your passion for it and how driven you were for it. You were driven in the midst of it all, that you believed in yourself, and I think that's very important. You believed in yourself the whole time, even though you did applications and whatever, and you were getting denied at first, but you kept pushing. And the only way you could keep pushing is if you believed in yourself and you had it in your mind that this is what I'm going to do, and regardless of what it takes, I'm going to get it done. And I think that's really important for people to hear and also understand, right? That you're going to get denied sometimes. You're going to see there's going to be roadblocks, but do you stop because there's a roadblock, or do you keep pushing, right? And I'm really glad that you were able to be transparent with us in that, because I feel like a lot of times we see these successful business owners and we don't really know all their struggles, so we just think, oh my God, they made it, but you don't know what it took for them to get to that. And I really appreciate you being transparent about that.
First of all, before I get into that, running a business is one of the most difficult things to do. Shout out to all the business owners, entrepreneurs out there, employers. It's hard. Like the employees don't even know, they have no idea what business owners go through. Like they have no idea to make sure that the paycheck keeps coming in for them. Sometimes I'm nervous. Like, am I gonna make the payroll for the next month? Like, am I gonna get return on investments?
That's real.
Like, these are like nightmares a business owner goes through. Like, you're talking about operational costs, like rent, all those fixed costs and stuff like that. And then you're talking about payroll, and then like you yourself, you're the least on that. You're not even talking about.
Exactly. You're not even counted. Everybody gets paid before you.
Like, you don't care about yourself. You just care about keeping the business alive. And that's the hard work. And so it's not enough for you to start a business because you believe in yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's not enough. Like, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Quit your 9 to 5, chase what you
Yeah,
love.
I agree
No,
with
don't
that.
believe that. I'm
I
telling
agree
you,
with that. I actually agree with that. Yeah.
don't believe that. Like, you gotta make sure that you can persevere because it's hard.
It-
And again, it's a trade-off.
Mm.
Running a business is a trade-off. You're gonna be losing a lot in life as opposed to rest of mind. Because when you go to work and you clock out at 5 o'clock, that's it. You're done, right? And then the next time you're coming the next day, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., and that's it. But running a business, like I said before, is pretty much 24 hours thing.
You're always working.
Like, you don't stop, and
Yeah.
nothing is guaranteed for you. You're gonna get to a certain level where there's steady income coming in, but for startup, for the first couple years, 5 years, 10 years, depends on, it's gonna be a struggle for you. Most of the time, you're putting in money from your savings back into the business.
Yeah.
Like I
If
said,
you have a savings, guys, get a
if you have a
savings.
savings, a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a lot of credit loans. They're like in debt a lot. That's why sometimes you see some successful brand, the next couple years they're going bankruptcy
Yeah,
because it's a struggle.
it's a struggle.
But then, like I said, how I'm able to mitigate through the struggles is knowledge, right? So through learning, I'm able to understand the opportunities in the business, the incentives in the business, and how you can write off everything you're spending, on taxes and stuff like that as an entrepreneur. And that's the first thing they kind of taught us in the business seminar I went for a couple of weeks that was sponsored by the government. They taught us how to, center everything about you in the business so that every expenses, you're making, even as little as going to grocery shopping, is a business expenditure, and you can write that off.
Okay, so
Those are the knowledge.
Okay,
Those
so
are the knowledge. Like, when I talk about knowledge, those are the things.
The things
those are
that's
gonna like
important, yeah.
impact your overall revenue.
okay,
in that
and
business, yeah.
okay, all right. So there are courses, guys, within, I guess, the government that would help you in terms of getting your business afloat, and they give you the knowledge that you need to know, right? And would you say it's important to have an accountant from the beginning, because you were talking about writing off? Not everybody understands that.
Yeah.
So do you get an accountant from the beginning, or do you
Well, right now it's kind of easy because you have like these apps like QuickBooks,
Yeah.
Waves, that it's easy for you, or you just need to input the numbers and
Right.
and it does the whole calculation for you and everything
Exactly,
for you. Like
yeah.
invoices, everything is
Okay.
in one place. So
Okay.
now it's even easier for
it's
you.
even easier? Okay.
Yeah, and also one thing again that helped me out was branding. Branding really helped me out a lot, and that's a lot of things that a lot of entrepreneurs don't care about, and also young people, creatives. I'm talking about creatives more because I'm talking from experience, right? So branding is very important for me, and branding goes anywhere from communication to deliverables and stuff like that.
Okay.
You got to be organized, right? Because I figure that when people pay you, they require more than what they're paying for from you, and branding is even going to make them come back, right?
Right.
Because a lot of the customers you're going to be getting is from referrals, right? And people are going to refer you if they got good experience working with you. Not just about the job being good,
That's true.
but personally, how were they treated? How was the communication? Did they
Right.
just send you an email and they didn't get a response? They have to call you and nobody's picking the calls. Stuff
Yeah,
like that
That's true.
could impact your revenue, and that's where branding comes in. You got to make sure that you answer that email in less than 24 hours. If there's anything happening, be nice enough to explain. If you're running late on timelines, be nice enough to tell them what's going on. Like,
Exactly.
hey, I know I was supposed to deliver this job yesterday, but I'm sorry I had this, that. I'm going to deliver next day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forgo my balance payment because I couldn't meet timelines. But that's good, and that's discipline.
Right.
And that's me telling the customer I'm really disciplined and I take responsibilities for my actions.
Right.
And that's what customers want to see from you.
Right. Wow.
Because I've been on both sides of the spectrum. Like, I've been a customer, and now I'm the one, I'm the business.
Yeah.
So I understand how both worlds work, because right now I run a rental company, BC Studios, right? So I've been renting from studios before, running that, so I understand how customers think,
Right.
and I'm able to meet their needs
Right.
based off of that experience.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so you just mentioned BC Studios as we're coming to an end. Let's get into BC Studios. I've used it before. Personally, I love it. And tell us a little bit about that and how did you get to BC Studios?
BC Studio is an experiment for something big. I'm experimenting with BC Studios.
Oh, it's an experiment.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say too much right now because
Okay.
I don't like to say too much. I just want people to see.
Oh, okay.
Right. Like I'm gonna be impacting the creative industry, the film, television, in a very big way that nobody has done. Right. Or like only few people has done. Right. So, but I'm experimenting. You know, there's something I learned in business. Right. Sometimes when companies are about building something big like a spaceship, they're gonna have like what is it called, a miniature one they're gonna experiment on to see, so that the cost, if it goes wrong, it's not gonna be much,
right,
as opposed to when they build the actual thing and it blows up in the air. So that's what I'm doing with BC Studios.
Oh,
before I
okay.
can throw in the whole weight on what I actually want to do.
What you actually
And surprisingly, BC Studio is going better than I expected. It's becoming much more than an experiment.
It's a beautiful, guys, BC Studio, it's beautiful. There's different rooms. There's so much to it. I love it. You really did.
Yeah.
You really did good with it. And you're constantly changing it, and it's constantly revolving. And I love that. I love that.
And what happened with BC Studio is, like I said in the beginning, I was very close to the business. I was doing pretty much the first couple of months, the first 6 months, I was doing everything myself. Why? Because I wanted to know what's working, right? So I can know where to put my money on and get good return on investment, right? So I was very close to the business. I understand what was working and what people were looking for. And, you know, for me, it's all about customers' needs.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about what customers need, what is going to make them feel comfortable, what is going to make them come back to the door.
Exactly.
So that was what I learned. And I know I had issues with a couple of my staffs because they don't understand what a customer need is. And I tried to educate them about that. It was hard because they were just coming in to get the hours and go.
That's it, yeah.
Right? And I initially wanted to walk away from BC Studios and let other people run it after the first year. That was my plan because it was an experiment. But because of the kind of crazy response we're getting from customers and the demand and everything, I'm like, I might be onto something here. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I decided to throw a little bit of weight on it.
Right.
And right now we're getting a second location. You know, bigger location, 2 times bigger than what we have right now.
And because this location is pretty big, so bigger than this location could fit 2 houses in there. Like, it's a big location.
It's gonna be big, and it's gonna be off-site because we're trying to build something that they don't have here. I've seen a couple of stuffs like that. It's just like film. Again, I'm not gonna say too much.
Yeah, okay.
But it's something where like it's gonna blow people's mind when they see what is coming. And I have the best team right now that we're working on the whole blueprint and everything.
Wow.
And I'm excited about that.
I'm excited.
And that's gonna
for
be
you.
BC 2.0.
BC 2.0. I like that. Is that what it's gonna be called? BC 2.0. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's amazing. No, honestly, thank you so much for coming in and just giving us your knowledge, giving us your experience. And I feel like, you know, this is going to be really helpful for someone who is in the process of, you know, the journey in growing their business, especially within like the film industry. And one thing I've noticed, like that you said, is like you started off with one thing, but then another door open and you went with that, and then like another door open because you started BC Studios, so you didn't really plan to stay there, but you seen that, oh my God, it's doing well, let me stay here, and now you're about to open another location. Only God knows what's going to blow up from there.
You always gotta watch out for the opportunities when they come, and you know that you're a photographer today doesn't mean that's what you're gonna be. Like, you gotta see when the opportunity comes kicking. When it comes kicking, grab it and, you know,
grab it and go.
Knock it out the park.
That's it. That's it.
You know, don't hold yourself back.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, so do you have any last words for our viewers before we close off? Just, you know, just it could be uplifting or just anything.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell people, you know, everything they already know, but I'm just like I said before, you got to be willing to do the work, and you got to be willing to learn.
Right.
Learning new things every day is very important, and adding to what you're doing every day is very important. If you want to write a script, even if you don't have the ideas yet, just open that book and just write something.
Write something
Every day.
Just start.
Just start. Just write the name. You know, just start something. If you want to create an artwork, if you're doing a painting every day, just go to that canvas and just drop a dot.
Right.
So that's kind of like one way to go about it. And it's trust me, it's hard. It's a long process being an entrepreneur, especially when you don't have like the right mentorship around you, because not a lot of people has that opportunity to have like mentors or people that have been through that path to guide them rightly. So it's gonna be more like hit and miss, learning through mistakes type of situation, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've made a lot of mistakes in this industry as well. You know, but that's okay. That's the whole learning process. And yeah, people should just continue learning. And keep creating.
Okay.
It's okay to create bad videos. It's okay to create, if you're like a filmmaker, it's okay to make bad movies.
Okay.
I mean, I made bad movies before.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've made bad movies. Like, I look at it today and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Oh, really? You've seen your growth.
Yeah, but those were like if I didn't make those bad movies, I wouldn't know how not to make them.
I like that. I like that. No, that's true.
It's okay to make mistakes. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel like you're not good at it. But that's just the process, because that's how the greatest did it.
That's how they did it. Okay, so really quickly, I know this was supposed to be the last thing, but I noticed you talked about the difficulty, the challenges. I want to know what's your favorite part about, you know, just being your own boss, you know, being through this process. What is your favorite thing about it? Like, what do people have to look forward to in terms of that?
I mean, the confidence I feel in me. I feel like anything I create today is gonna blow up. That's how, because I've experimented a lot of things that I wasn't even serious about, and it took off.
It took off, yeah.
Yeah. So those are like what people notice about me. Like in my family today, like my other brothers, they just want me to tell them it's okay to do this. It's okay to invest in this. It's okay to do this.
Oh, wow. They trust you. Like, they trust your opinion.
And I know all those came through trials and mistakes and experiences. Experience is the best teacher, they say.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that kind of built my confidence, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I'm also very spiritual. I pray a lot because I believe, you know, God is the greatest. And
amen. Say that again. Yeah. God is the greatest.
Yeah. You just got to do your best and then have faith in God, that God is going to bring everything to fruition. And that's been me. Like, I don't pray a lot, but I have this relationship with God, which I think is very important for everyone watching us right now, to understand that there's a spiritual being that controls what happens in the physical. Not that I'm trying to get super religious right now, but
Speak your truth.
Yeah, but this is how it works. Watch all the billionaires right now. They're very spiritual. They gotta believe in something. I don't know what it is. It doesn't have to be God, but there has to be a spiritual force that is pulling it.
I don't know about the other spiritual forces, but I hear you.
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not trying to be biased.
Yeah,
right?
no,
I'm not trying
you.
to like. I respect whatever everybody believes in. Don't get me wrong.
No, I understand.
I believe in God, and I'm not judging anybody. But it's always good to have faith in something, because you know that's also how I read a book. It's called Powers of Metaphysics. It's about willing something into fruition.
Okay.
You know, it's all about the spirit being in you. It's a huge force that you can't stop. That's why sometimes people don't have to wish you bad. By saying it, they can do it right in their mind, and it's gonna come. It's gonna come to reality. You know, so this is me giving away my secrets anyway. That's what we like. How it works for me.
That's what we like. No, thank you so much, Kennedy, for coming on Open for Discussion. You gave us so many nuggets, and I'm definitely sure this is going to be beneficial for a lot of people. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching Open for Discussion. If you like what you see, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Also, like, subscribe, and tap that notification button for more videos. And we'll see you next time.